this is your daily late morning hour reading. Okay, so I've got two cards open here and we're going to go straight into it. The first card I got actually is a chakra card to do with your throat chakra, which is communication. What comes up for me straight away is being honest and congruent in your communication and being very clear as possible. Okay, so if you're communicating or having to make important communication with anybody, make sure that you're really clear about what you want to communicate and how you need to communicate. Okay, now the communication can come for me in many areas as well. This is a sense of also maybe overthinking or thinking too much, or wanting to think about somebody or something incessantly. Okay, my eyes are going towards the two kind of the light that is flashing between the two people. This brings two factors. You can actually be thinking about something or wanting to send out thoughts as well. Okay, be mindful of the thoughts that you actually send out into the universe, be it your sort of personal grievances, or it could be also positive thoughts. Okay, what we decide and how we decide to take our day in our minds rather makes a huge difference to how we actually feel. Okay, it's like kind of like an antenna, like an aerial. Now, I'm not wanting to just paper chasing, paper walling anything regarding our negative thoughts and just say, oh, I can just sort of step over it. Or I think it's really important to honor your feelings. Okay, but today particularly, okay, we're talking about communication. So the communication is really important. And this is about how you communicate to yourself, what you communicate to yourself, as with what you communicate out to the world. It could also mean that you might actually want to start putting some thoughts about or communicate about your plans for the future, or start thinking about what you want to do. So I suggest as well that you might actually want to create an intentional what you want to have happen. So today could be quite a good day for that. For some of you, you might want to write your thoughts down, write your plans down, and chunk maybe some things that you might have and you need to do. So for example, you might feel overwhelmed by the amount of things that is happening around you at the moment, or the things that you need to tackle, or the changes that you're experiencing. Okay, I really picking up the energy that there's a bit of an overwhelm with lots of people, because everything's up in the air at the moment and everything's very changeable at the moment, with sort of not knowing whether they're in lockdown. There's been lots of bigger scale things about people experiencing fires everywhere, and then it's putting everybody on edge. There might be communication to do with that, where you actually maybe need to sort of write to your insurance people, or it affects the multitude of people in a different facet. So whoever is watching this, hopefully there's a message for you. But communication is very key. All right, it is really clear that also that whatever you communicate and however you communicate, you balance it out with listening just as much as speaking. Okay, now be mindful about how you communicate as well out to people in general. All right, I do feel in some way that there is actually the second card, which brings me to the second card, is the card to be fair. So I feel like some people actually have to, you're wanting to balance the scale. Okay, if there's been any imbalances in your life personally, in your immediate world, you might want to balance up, say that somebody's not really showing up for you. You might want to communicate that. You might actually, there might be some risks that need healing or working with, and some communication that's not been said before needs to be said. Okay, use your wisdom as to where your communication needs to go and how it needs to go. The wisdom for me is coming from the little owl there, if you can see it right on the top of the head. And in some way, wisdom to me is all about what you've learned in the past from your past experiences, and you've gained the wisdom now. So try and avoid going towards the same old story, if you like, and sort of putting yourself in a situation where actually it doesn't serve your highest good. All right, really, if you're unsure about something, always coming back into your body and weigh it up. Okay, I tend to do that quite a lot. There's a balanced scale there, so you can actually bring that image into your body, and this one side is a nope, okay, and the other side is a yes, and then you just literally close your eyes. I think I talked about this in one of my recent videos as well. It could have been the last daily or the new moon video I did, which was also recently recorded. But interestingly, it's the same kind of message. Really pay attention to how you're feeling inside. Your body will never lie. Okay, you can think of all kinds of things in your mind, because I have to and I should do, and really I must do, and all these shoulds, must, and have tos are all about kind of an infringed or put upon judgment that you have towards yourself, sort of imposed by another person in your past. Okay, it could be an ex, it could be somebody, the way they spoke to you and made and blamed or labeled you about something. It could also be stemmed something from your childhood. All right, these are dailies, and also with the linear time, and time is fluid. So whenever you get this message, there's a message for you. But in terms of what we hold, okay, in terms of making certain decisions for ourselves, I'm all into about the sort of self-sovereignty, being in your own power, living a liberated life, so that, you know, to be able to live a liberated life, or to really truly being your sovereign. For me, it's about actually being really congruent and in integrity to yourself. So it's not about somebody else's decision. It's not about somebody else's rules. And it's not about what somebody else says to you. It's about what is true for you. Okay. So make sure that you balance the scales there. There's also, I feel, yeah, my throat is feeling tickly. So I think some of you are definitely not speaking up. Okay, some of you have some unfinished business of lack of communication, and you're keeping it in your body and in your core, and it really needs to come out. Okay, so wherever you are in the course of the day, if not today about making that step towards that communication, do make sure that you are in a space where you can actually clear out any old debris of communication, if that is what needs to happen. Okay, and whatever happens as well, don't take more on than you can chew. I'm looking at the kind of all the different arms coming out that woman again. So really balance your day well. Just pay attention to what is coming through to you in terms of what is important and what's a priority. Okay, particularly if we're feeling quite overwhelmed and there's so many things happening in the course of the day or the time that you're experiencing. Some things would be valid and some things are really definitely not valid anymore. And it is up to you to start really noticing what you can let go of. All right, so I'm now going to open the third card, which is actually from the Osho Zen. Okay, and it is the card of healing. So I do feel that there is definitely some old story that needs to be healed with other people, where the communication definitely needs to happen. Make sure that you actually speak from the heart as well, so you're actually really clear with your intent. And your, you know, when you speak from your heart, it doesn't mean to say necessarily getting all mushy or, you know, whatever. I mean, of course, you can have some tears if there's some sort of communication, but the heart-centered talk never lies. Okay, when it's your heart speaking, when you're speaking truthfully from your heart by connecting into your heart, you can't actually go wrong. Okay, for some of you, I also feel that this is very much owning your power, to do with your solar plexus. Make sure that you are actually contained within yourself before you speak as well, so you're not sort of going all over the place and letting your emotions take over, where you actually end up regretting. Again, another thing that's coming up for me with this card, looking here as well, that there's a hand there on the head. So some of you could be thinking too much. Okay, so maybe you need to really tame the mind down and keep the mind, how can I put it? Quietening the mind. Okay, so you can do that by actually going out in nature towards the water and just watching the water flow, because there's a sort of a few sort of strands there as well, which is sort of taking me to think about the water, or just letting the thoughts come and go, almost like some passing cloud or a very gentle stream. Okay, so kind of you can visualize that as well by quietening the mind. Okay, when my mind gets a bit over occupied and busy, I tend to actually really think about also a really still pond, you know, just a still waters, and just see it just really tranquil. And it seems to really sort of work for me. So that's what I use in terms of visualizing, in taming my monkey mind, or my mind that can get over busy, especially at the moment, because I also personally have a lot on my plate and a lot of things I want to sort out. So this is very much the energy that we're all going through, you know, lots of changes for lots of people wanting to make steps forward, people dealing with endings, people wanting to sort of, you know, sort of manage their lives in a way that's sort of some chaos, outward chaos is created. So really being in the body really helps, and staying balanced in the body, very important. Okay, the weekend forecast, or the reading really was about clearing out, yeah, and like I said, I think then clearing out any debris that's in your mind, or clearing out anything that's in your home, or anything that's over consuming. Okay, so if you're watching too much TV, too much Facebook, too much whatever, really clear that out, make the changes. So this is a really nice way of actually moving into the first day of the week, which is today, to do with getting the balance right. Okay, very Virgo as well. All right, so the last card here, wow, is surrendering outdated beliefs about yourself. So very much about asserting your value. So if some of you, if you're actually sort of feeling that you're being treated unfairly, either in a relationship or at work as well, this is really about coming from a place of outmoded dates of your belief system about yourself, okay, about limiting ideas you have about yourself, which is also very much tied to the healing card. Some of you might need to do some healing around your childhood, inner child, or pay attention where the wounding has come, because that is how you operate. Okay, we have the software that we were adopted or given, if you like, unawares, and we're living out of that software, and we keep on repeating ourselves in terms of the kind of what we allow into our lives, what we accept in our lives. Okay, so this is a real time for communication where you can really straighten the record and get the balance right. Okay, and maybe even get the balance and harmony back in your life as well. Okay, this could be also self-communicating, you know, really talking to yourself in a very positive way, being honest about what you really want in your life and what you don't want to be in your life, and staying with it. Okay, the staying with it is quite nice there, because I see the tree there as well, and this tree is flourishing. Okay, a beautiful image of a very stable rooted tree, which is really important. The other thing, for those who are familiar with the chakras, maybe focusing on your solar plexus, a really good thing, because this card also has a lot of yellow here, okay, around the card, which is a solar plexus color. I'll quickly read this. It says, let go of limiting ideas about yourself that originate from the past. Okay, then you can own your power and soar in your life. So again, you know, I really believe people who are tuning into this are those who are already on this path and actually sort of know what I'm talking about. And you're not going to kind of raise your eyebrows about, you know, the kind of suggestions I'm making. Do make a regular practice of actually working with your chakras, particularly at the moment as we're changing through the seasons. It's the equinox tomorrow as well. So lots of energy that's being shifted. All right. And we've got also major planetary aspects that are shifting the consciousness of the world. So some of you could be experiencing sleepless nights as well, but I won't go down that road today because it's not here today. Today is all about communication. So really communicate well and talk to your inner self as well. Okay, that's another way to tip the balance. If you're feeling over emotional, you know, or in your head a lot, talk to yourself as if you were a beautiful, tender mother talking to a beautiful, tender child of yours, and speak to it in a way that can readdress the balance of any upset, any confusion, any fear that you might have. So that is very poignant today. I'm just going to have a quick look at the bottom of the deck. So we're going to start with the wisdom of the oracle. Okay. With the wisdom of the oracle at the bottom of the deck, which is the energy at the back end, I have got the card not for you. So for some of you, definitely, whatever you're thinking you're moving towards, or whatever you're holding on to, or even whatever you've accepted, right, you know, that you've been given on a plate, so to speak, is not for you. Okay, so if you're having doubts about something, trust your intuition on that. Okay, yeah, it's now time to take a step back, and maybe not even take action right now, and actually looking at what needs to happen. Okay, but so I feel that maybe in this communication, a bit like the owl doesn't make any moves until it really knows to make the move. Okay, so stand back and really observe what is coming towards you, and listen out. And this is also to do with the universe. So maybe at this time, particularly today, is a good day to really tune in to what you're hearing and what is really grabbing your attention, and maybe only then make the move. Okay, so really listening to intuition as well. All right. And behind that, actually, really interestingly, is, yeah, so the danger is, if some of you, you know, you might be repeating a never-ending story, which is very much about your old patterns. Okay, so they're doing the things the same way, approaching things in the same way, undervaluing in the same way, which is repetition. Okay, so you can really sort of imagine now, you know, taking mind on a different scale and actually put something new in place. Okay, stop thinking negatively. If you see this figure, she's got her head in her hands there. Okay, that there is a new time emerging, so it's an opportunity for you at this time to actually make changes. Okay, let me have a quick look at the bottom of the what's it called? The Osho Zen tarot. Okay, here we've got the source. This to me is also a really big, powerful card about watching and really holding your power and seeing what your center is telling you. Okay, this is also, I always feel this is a very powerful looking card, a card we can really manifest and, you know, asking divine source to guide you. Okay, pay attention to how you feel. Notice when it is you feel moved to do something. Okay, get out of your head and get back into your body, and really let your heart and your central core navigate the terrain. Okay, and really feel maybe the heat, if you like, when you move towards certain things. Okay, I mean, you've been like the hot and cold. Remember I used to play that game? You know, I spy my eyes and you go towards something. Am I warm as a child? Am I hot? You know, again, move towards things that really move you or have some heat rather than, and I'm not talking about heated arguments, obviously. Okay, but, you know, so if you're feeling not unmoved to go towards something, trust it. Do not force yourself to move where you don't need to go. Another way to get out of that kind of rut, here behind here, I've got a quick card of playfulness. So again, if you're feeling stuck, maybe just change the energy today a bit, you know, have a bit of 10-minute play, an hour play, or go out and play some tennis, or just go out and play. Okay, that's a really good card to, you know, change the energy. If you see this clown here, it's got all the bright energy around it as well. It really helps to shift things so things can actually be, you can have the clarity around maybe what action you need to take, or what communication, or what you need to balance in terms of fairness. Now, I'm just going to very quickly finish off with the bottom of the deck here. Okay, is the card of obsessive thinking. So this is what I was saying earlier on. If you're overthinking, yeah, it says if you're obsessing about a person or situation, turn the dilemma over to spirit. Okay, so ask spirit to help you. And we, I think, got this card in the weekend as well, the guidance card. Doing so will bring your clarity or even solve the problem. Okay, sometimes we can get overwhelmed. You know, we have been raised to take charge, raised to do things, raised to go and achieve, raised to do this, raised to do that, and blah, 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 blah. Okay, and there are times really it's about pulling back. I mean, this card, they're not for you, for me. It's like seeing these chess, you know, keys or pawns, you know, look at it, they're just lined up, none of them are moving. All right, so I think in some way it's really important that, you know, just taking stock and moving back and actually asking for guidance would definitely be the problem solver for many, and bring you the clarity as to what the next move is. Okay, and just to really finish, because I want to keep these dailies relatively short, but as these cards are all really resonating and speaking fluidly, it says here to surrender to trust. Okay, which is what we're saying, right? Surrender to the divine. Okay, we really need to get into this place of trust now, right? Because obviously we, you know, we can't always know what the future holds. We've all been taught that in the last few months, you know, with the COVID, you know, it's spun everybody's plans, everybody's whatever. And also a lot of changes has happened on the back of it, the COVID, which is still ongoing. Okay, not some of us don't even know if there's going to be a lockdown or not. So this is where we need to trust. Okay, so trust yourself and your decisions. I also feel this is also trusting in the divine. Okay, don't be swayed by other people's strong opinions about what you do. And I think I was saying that earlier on about, you know, the influences that we might have had from our parents, or from our educators, or from the society at large, or even books. Okay, and even this, okay, you know, don't be swayed by what I'm saying. Just trust yourself more than anything else, right? Always, you have free will and you must trust yourself. But if this resonates, it only resonates with you if you know that there's some truth in it for you, okay? So I'll read it again. Trust yourself and your decisions. Don't be swayed by other people's strong opinions about what to do. And I'd even say strong reactions from other people as well. Stay centered, okay? Take action and be confident that you have chosen the right path. So again, just expanding on that as well. If you are taking action about speaking, communicating, which is really what today's theme is about, just hold your center, okay, which is about being in your power center, okay, and hold the truth about yourself, being congruent and being in your divine self powerfully will not have you sway from what another person's saying. So if you need to communicate something and somebody's having a go, or bring something up from the past or whatever, just stay and be still and trust yourself and come from that place, okay? And also, more importantly, take action, okay, if you are, and be confident that you've chosen the right path, okay? And taking action also can be non-action, so you can actually be taking action by not acting out. So listen to yourself, whatever that might be, all right? And yeah, just finally, there's a picture there of a lake, very stillness as well. So I really feel stillness is the key. So I'm going to leave it here, folks. Thanks for listening for the 21st of September, or for any time anybody views this. There's hopefully a message for you. Please do comment so I know that if it's something that you enjoy, but I will continue with these for the time being. And there'll be a short post, another post up tomorrow. And I'll also be filming tomorrow's weekly, which will be up on YouTube as well, but I always put a link on that. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you for being here, and I will catch you tomorrow. Bye for now. Bye.